following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Oh, we're live. Oh, hi. Hello, everyone. Welcome to No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are presented by Belly Up Sports in association with Godzilla Media. My name's Ryan McCarthy. I'm one of the co-hosts of this incredible show. And to my right is a man who definitely did not plan his own kidnapping over the weekend, Dustin Henry. Dustin, how are you doing today?
I would never do such things. I mean, I only went to Lowe's and got some duct tape and some rope and a shovel and smeared dirt on my face. I'm going to stop now.
Good idea. You don't want to incriminate yourself.
Yeah. We have a cadre of lawyers watching.
Yes, we do. Kevin, just be on the standby. So we got some things to talk about tonight. We're going to review the movie Miracle in this installment of No Ticket Required, which is our summer movie series. We're going to do some just a myriad of sports news topics, and we're also going to play some questions for Humans Guys Night edition once more. But before we do that, just to remind you about our social media channels right down here below on Twitter, Instagram, and the very seldomly used TikTok. It's at NoCredsREQ, Facebook.com/NoCredsREQ. On YouTube, it's YouTube.com/NoCredsREQ. And if you're watching on either live or on the replay on either Facebook or YouTube, why don't you go ahead and smash that like button. Smash it responsibly. Because that'll give us money as you see the correlation.
Yeah, but you know what I've always wondered about that graphic is those coins vaguely look like the chocolate coins. You know, the ones that you could like unwrap in the thing.
They kind of look like the they actually kind of look like the coins that Scrooge McDuck dove into in DuckTales.
Oh yeah. Which little known, I asked this question one time at work. I'm surprised they still have a job there, but I asked them if they knew who the second richest duck in the world was. Can you answer that one for me, Ryan?
I bet your sister could, because she's watching right now.
Yeah, she probably.
Hi, Tracy.
It is Flint Heart Glomgold. I used to watch a lot of DuckTales, and apparently there's DuckTales comics. I didn't know about that.
Woo. Moving right along, if you're listening on the podcast side in your earballs, why don't you go ahead and subscribe on a myriad of podcast platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Google Play, wherever you podcast, and also rate and review 5 stars. This many stars is the number of stars you should give us a rating for, because we think it's pretty excellent. And also, if you are on a platform where you can leave a review. We might even read it on the air, no matter how sweet or how disgustingly vile it is. We'll read your review.
Even if it goes a little sour, you'll get your airtime.
You got that right. And since this is a live show and we are a listener engaged show, you can interact with us in the comments. I know, Dustin, you've been waiting all week to hear that beautiful, beautiful sound.
Of course.
And you got to engage with us, whether you're watching live or you're watching on replay. We actually had Christopher Dietz last week. We talked about King Richard. He asked which one of us got slapped.
I'm not.
I volunteered Dustin as tribute.
Yeah.
And speaking of comments, your sister also says, "Hi guys, glad you tuned in and that you're talking movies, not sports." Ha ha. Ha, ha.
We will talk some sports on the show, but at the top half, it's going to be movie time.
That's right. And speaking of which, we might as well play the element. We might as well play the bumper for this installment of No Ticket Required.
I love that graphic, and I love the look of like shock on the people. Like I have to wonder what they're jumping back from. They're like, oh, a scary movie.
Maybe. So we're going to review Miracle, and Miracle is, of course, most of these movies that we're going to review this summer are based on actual events. And Miracle, is no surprise, is based on the Miracle on Ice, which happened in 1980 during the Lake Placid Winter Olympics up in Lake Placid. So New York's got a little bit of history. Miracle on Ice took place in our state, Dustin.
Yeah. And actually, I have a family member who was actually there. I was she was a avid downhill skier. She worked at the Y, and I asked her at one Thanksgiving, I believe it was, I said, how did it happen? She said there was a sign up sheet, and I volunteered to go up there and volunteer with and help with the Olympic ceremony. So that's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. 1980, she was there. My dad wasn't, but Joan was. She was there. So that's a pretty cool thing. I always thought.
I was 2 years old, and you weren't even a twinkle in your daddy's eye.
Yeah, not yet.
This event
not yet. Not yet. For that matter, my sister wasn't even around either.
Oh man.
So,
that makes me feel extra old.
No.
So Dustin, this was actually your first time seeing this movie. I was very surprised that you had never seen Miracle. What were your impressions? What did you like about the film? Give us some details.
Well, I've started to realize that here on No Ticket Required, and it might be sports movies in general, we'll have to see if some of the ones that we've picked out for future viewings break this template. But we have got Air had a montage. I'm trying to think of what was the other one. King Richard definitely had some montage moments.
Because as they say in Team America World Police, you gotta have a training montage.
Yeah, a training montage.
Gotta have a montage. Even Rocky had a montage.
Overall, I thought that this montage was at the beginning. It was effective at reminding us where we were as a country. The Cold War was a thing. The gas shortages. I never had to go through that, but my parents did.
Did I? So my parents. Yep.
It's and I should say I was able to watch this movie outside under the stars. I had a big projection screen.
As your sister has said in the comments, we watched it outside, and I had the mosquito bites to prove it.
Yeah, that was a little rough. But the screen was good. Everything. It was nice atmosphere, and it felt right for watching a movie about hockey. To be outside in the open air. But I will say the common theme, you got the montage going, and then you got Kurt Russell doing it his way. He eschews the committee and selects the team on the first day of tryouts. They're like, we got a week of this. He's like, no, we don't. I already know. I coach these kids, the ones that I haven't coached, I've played against, or I've talked to them. I know this team backwards and forwards. It's my way or the highway, baby. So that's another sort of common theme. We got King Richard. Well, I called him King Richard. It was a slip, but we have Richard Williams doing it his way with his daughters, and in some ways stunting their development. If you listen to MVP of that movie, tennis coach Macy, who I will be going as for Halloween, apparently. But
yes, come on, you gotta do it.
And then you got Billy Bean trying to do it his way, or more accurately, Pete's way. So we've got we've got a common theme in these sports movies. And he's another person that's tortured by his past failures. In his case, not being able to play for the '60 Olympic team,
who
which
also beat the Soviet Union in that Olympics, and they also won the
yes,
gold medal in that
yes,
Olympics.
which I thought. See, I couldn't remember, and I thought that it was going to be like, oh, they lost. That's why
Yeah,
he's so
no,
driven.
that was the original Miracle on Ice. That team was the original Miracle on Ice, but because we know it with Al Michaels' fantastic call,
Oh yeah,
the Soviets were back in the 1980s, the late 70s, going into the 1980s, when they were such a dominant team in world hockey. And they said there in the film they had won over a 43 game span. They won 42 games.
yeah.
I think that one was
That
a
is ridiculous.
tie
Yeah.
taken.
Yeah, so and also, some common themes. I got remember the Titans vibes when he's working them really hard after their tie with the, I believe, was it the Norwegian
The
national team?
Norwegian national team, yes.
And the coach was very disappointed. Kurt Russell does a good job in this movie. I feel like he does a good job in this movie, but I enjoyed the performance of um, I don't know the actor's name. I know him as Agent Fred Beeman from The Americans. If you haven't watched The Americans, fire that up. The whole show's over now. It's a great Cold War era spy show. Kerry Russell's in it. Nothing to sneeze at, let me tell you. And also, they wear cheesy disguises. I mean, these disguises, you got to see them. You got to see him to believe him. But anyway, Agent Beeman, he's back. He's assistant coach Craig James, and he's telling him, "Hey, you're killing these guys. You're going to work them too hard."
That's Noah Emmerich.
Oh, okay. Yep.
He was
Yep.
if I remember correctly, he was also in a couple episodes of Beverly Hills 90210 back in the
Oh,
day.
see, I wasn't allowed to watch that. I couldn't.
Ah!
But so the coach is like telling him, "Hey, you really shouldn't be doing this. This is madness." The doctor's telling him, and he's going, "Nope, I'm gonna this." Once again, he's saying it's my way or the highway. So overall, I like this movie, even though it had some common themes. I thought maybe, and it was possibly because I was outside, I was getting bitten by mosquitoes a little bit. I thought it was a touch too long. I don't know how you feel about the length of this movie. But one of the best things they did was having Al Michaels, I'm assuming, redub his original
Yes.
commentary
Yes.
until the end, where it
With
switches.
the exception of the last 10 seconds, that was him and Ken Dryden.
Yeah. So they got
former
Dryden to come back too.
former Montreal Canadiens and Cornell Big Red Great.
Oh, nice. Well, before I keep spouting off about my thoughts here, let me get a few of your thoughts on this movie. I'm guessing you've seen it multiple times.
Yes, I had the DVD when I bought the DVD. I didn't see it in the theaters when it came out, but I bought the DVD the day it came out, and I remember watching it over and over again. It's actually one of my favorite sports movies, period.
Okay.
Because it's based on one of my favorite sports history moments. And I did some research, and there are some things in the movie that have been Disneyfied, Dustin.
Oh, okay.
I need to give you a heads up on this. So everything.
We got an edition of History versus Hollywood here.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So the scene where they're doing the sprints, or as the players call them, the Herbies. They call them Herbies. That's what they were called. That's what the players called them, because you had to go up and down the ice within 45 seconds. When Eruzione was going, Mike Eruzione from Charlestown, Massachusetts. Who do you play for? The United States of America. That never happened.
Okay. All right.
That
I had to
never
guess.
happened.
I had to guess, because now you've just unknowingly opened a Pandora's box, and you've probably
I am shattered. I am shattered.
I have, and I can't use a strong word, so I'm going to say, you know how I feel about Mercury Morris, the 1972 Miami Dolphins. They're always out there. I get similar vibes from Mike Eruzione, and I'm just like, was Eruzione an executive producer on this? Did he have to put in these like little extra nuggets where it's like, oh, the team's fracturing, but Eruzione tries to bring it together. And you just answered one of my questions with that moment where he's like, Mike Eruzione. I was like, did this actually happen? I did think that.
No, and Mike Eruzione is not an executive producer or an associate producer on this film.
Okay.
Though right. I mean a lot of this is based on the stories from the individual players themselves. Unfortunately, Herb Brooks he passed away tragically in a car accident in August of 2003, right after principal. Right, I remember that day too, right, distinctly, because it was right after. I don't know if you remember, Dustin, the power outages in New York, in upstate New York and New York City, the great power outages in August of 2003.
I think I might vaguely remember
Yeah,
that.
it was around that time that Herb Brooks passed away. He passed away in a car accident, and also Pavlich has also passed away a few years ago as well. So, but he was alive during production. Bill, it's funny to see what I mean, this movie's almost 20 years old, which is equally as hysterical.
Yeah.
But
blew my mind, and there's some legendary hairstyles in this movie. You gotta love.
I mean, it's the 80s, man. Late 70s, early 80s. You gotta, literally.
You gotta love it. And I do have to say, there's a couple times where I noticed the Boston accent, the New England accent, kind of drifted in and out. There's times where, like, especially O'Callahan, he's talking at certain points and he's got no accent, and then it comes back in and it's real. It's there.
Yeah,
it's there.
It's thick.
Yeah.
Same with Same with the guy who played Jim Craig. I'm trying to remember. I have the IMDb in front of me. Eddie Cahill.
Oh, okay. Yep.
His accent kind of goes in and out every so often.
Yep, it drifts a little bit. It drifts, but so you really enjoy this movie, like like a lot. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big hockey fan. You know me. I'm a big hockey fan. I'm the hockey. I wouldn't say aficionado of this podcast, but I'm the enthusiast of this podcast.
The aficionado. You have a New Jersey Devils podcast, man.
I do. I have to bring that back. Also, the fight between O'Callahan and McClanahan also never took place.
Okay. All right. So their college roots, they weren't,
and the scene when O'Callahan was saying that McClanahan cheap shotted him in the 7-6 playoffs, McCallahan was actually still in high school. So he could have never cheap shot him, because again, it's that Disney sanitation of certain to put in those plot lines. Disneyfication. But I will say, they do have the one thing that they did have in common. I remember this from an HBO documentary about the 1980 Olympic team that came out, I think, in 2000. I had the DVD. I remember that Herb Brooks said basically, I want them to make me their enemy, so they would come together.
Okay.
And they had that, and the players had these terms called Herbieisms, and two of them were prominent in this movie. Actually, three of them. The first one being, whenever they mess up on a play, he'd always say, "It looks like a couple of guys. You look like a couple of monkeys trying to screw a football."
Oh,
that's
yeah,
a Herbieism.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm trying to remember the other one. You don't have enough talent to win on talent alone. That's a Herbieism.
Okay.
And the legs feed the wolves.
The legs feed the wolves was big in this one.
Yeah. Whenever I do cardio at the gym, I remember the legs feed the wolves. The legs feed the wolves. The legs feed the wolves.
No, and in the other moment, I'm curious to see if it was Disneyfied, is the scene where he tries to bring in the college player Timmy. He tries to bring him in late, and they stand up to him outside the bus, and they're like, "No, we're a family." And
I remember correctly, that is also a Disney.
Okay, so that's another Disneyfied, because I put it in my notes.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, good that they stood up to him. But I guess, the outcome of the game is the movie, but you can't base a whole movie around that. You gotta, and maybe we don't know. Maybe Herb was not like Herb Brooks was not like this maniacally driven man that the movie portrays. But you know, you got to make a movie. You got to make a movie.
You do.
So.
You got to make it. You got to make it presentable and believable. You know,
Mhm.
it's. I mean, part of that, and I think Kurt Russell played the part really, really well.
Yeah.
Kurt Russell, and just so you know, his son played junior hockey in Canada, and one of the movies we're going to review, he's in the sequel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's in the movie. He's in the movie Goon 2.
Goon.
Goon 2, right? Goon Rise of the Enforcers. That's what he. That's what he's in. And you have Patricia Clarkson playing Mrs. Brooks. Patricia Clarkson, if you don't know who she is, she's Tammy One in Parks and Recreation.
Oh, okay. Because I knew she looked really familiar, but I could not place her. You know, and then the doctor looked familiar too. But it's funny because you're talking about Herb Brooks saying he wanted to make him their enemy. They allude to that in the movie. There's the scene where the assistant coach and the doctor are going to get gas at a gas station, and they're in line, and you know, the doctor says, well, he has a reason behind everything he does. And I think it's Noah Emmerich who says,
Yeah.
he says, well, maybe he wants to make him their enemy so that they bond together or whatever. So
Yeah.
they allude directly to it.
So Kurt Russell's son is Wyatt Russell, and he's going to be in the Falcon and the he's in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Oh,
He plays John Walker, and he's Anders Kane in Goon Last of the Enforcers. So he legitimately played hockey. He played junior hockey up in the Western Hockey League, if I remember correctly. I think he played for the Seattle Thunderbirds, if I'm not mistaken. I'll double check that. But interesting that Kurt, and the funny thing is, if you've watched the Battered Bastards of Baseball, the Netflix documentary about how Kurt Russell's dad, I'm trying to remember his name. He was in Gunsmoke.
all right.
Let me just remember. He formed the Portland Mavericks, which was the last true independent baseball team in the minor leagues before Major League Baseball took it over.
Oh, okay. I did not know that. I'm going to have to watch that documentary. And according to my high-tech supercomputer, it's Bing Russell.
Bing Russell, yes.
Bing
Thank
Russell.
you.
Here we go.
Bing Russell. And he actually, what he did was that he used to make instructional baseball videos because he was super passionate about baseball and the game of baseball. Kurt was actually did the drills in the films. So Kurt Russell played baseball. I don't know if he played professionally, but he went into acting just like his dad. But he was in the documentary saying that, and you can see Kurt Russell as the kid who's doing the drills.
Oh yeah.
But it's just so interesting that this lineage from Bing to Kurt to now Wyatt is not only athletically gifted, but they're also gifted in the arts.
Yeah, they're all actors here. So it's in the Russell gene pool, man. But I think who do you think carries this movie? Because I think this movie is 100%. They try to make it about the team, but it's about the coach.
No, it's definitely about Herb Brooks. I think Kurt Russell definitely carried this movie. Patricia Clarkson plays her part as Mrs. Brooks and trying to be the one keeping the family together. And you see that, like you said, I don't know if that particular dynamic happened between Kirk and Pat, not Kirk, between Herb and Patty.
Yep.
And it's definitely driven around Herb Brooks because he's the one who made the team. He's the one who motivates the players to be their best, to do their best, and eventually at the end. And for anybody who's a trivia buff, by the way, the United States did not win the gold medal in that game.
Yeah, which is a fact that the movie re-educated me about because I had forgotten that. I had known that and then forgotten it. And then I said, oh yeah, there was another game after that. That's a classic like misremembering of things that, yes, we did beat the vaunted Soviet team, but it was not for the gold medal because
No.
everybody kind of conflates it. It's one of those classic examples, just like Star Wars. Everybody thinks he says, Luke, I'm your father. Vader actually says, no, I'm your father. It's so, but everybody, I mean, you talk to anyone, they're all saying it's Luke.
Search
I'm
your
your father.
feelings. Search
Yeah.
your feelings. You know it to be true.
That's
No,
impossible.
that's impossible.
That's a pretty good Mark Hamill. I got to give you that one.
Well, I don't have a sleeve long enough to like get
Yeah.
the missing the right arm, my right hand. Oh,
Yeah.
another thing, two other things that didn't happen that happened in the movie. The speech, the Herb Brooks speech where he tells him that's your time. From what Aruzioni said, he didn't say a whole lot of words before the game,
Okay.
but but everybody just kind of knew this was how huge this was.
Mhm.
And the selecting of the players, that scene where he said, I coached, I talked to I talked to their coaches, I've coached against these guys, I've coached with these guys.
Yeah.
He did actually talk to their coaches, but it didn't happen. The selections didn't happen in the span of a day, but
Okay.
he knew a lot of the players from having some of the players play for him at the University of Minnesota, or he's coached against them, or he talked to the coaches who knew them, like Jack Riley in Boston, which is where Aruzioni played, and actually that's where Aruzioni was the athletic director for a
Yeah.
while
I think at
at the
the end of the
university at
movie,
Boston
yeah.
University.
Yeah, as of the movie, he was currently then. I don't know how long his tenure lasted, but I Mike Eruzione, he's always willing to talk about that game, and I get it. Part of his job is now he's a motivational speaker,
Yep.
and he gets paid to do that kind of stuff. But I just always I kind of equated him a little bit with those 72 Dolphins. I'm like, Aruzione's everywhere, and he's talking about the same thing. But hey, if I was a part of something that cool, I'd probably still be talking
Yeah.
about it. So I
Yeah.
should shut my mouth.
If I scored the game-winning goal against the Soviets in 1980, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
taking that. I'm running with that to my grave.
Yeah.
All the way from 1980 up February 22nd, 1980, all the way to the day I die. I'm taking that with me.
Well, and I think I remember seeing some sort of sports thing on like ESPN Classic back in the day. They had a lot of greats of their respective sports sitting around a round table, and Mike Ruzioni was a part of it, and he basically said, "I haven't had to pay for a drink since that shot happened."
Yeah,
You know?
I think he said, yeah, I remember correctly. I haven't had to pay a drink in Boston since I won that.
Yeah,
Since I won that game. But there's a 30 for 30 called Of Miracles and Men,
Oh yeah.
which features one Vyacheslav Slava Fetisov, who played for my New Jersey Devils up until 1995. But it talks about his coming up in the Soviet hockey program and how he was with the original coach Tarasov, who basically started the Soviet program from scratch,
Hmm.
and just was watching reels of Canadian hockey, and he says, and he thought I can do this better.
Yeah.
And they did for many years. From
Oh yeah.
I believe they won in from night they won in 64, 72, 76, 84, 88. And 88 was the last gold medal that the Soviets won. And that was before the modern Olympic era, where back in the day they didn't have the tournament like we have now. We don't have the knockout tournament like we do in Olympic hockey now. And boy, is it coming down here!
Yeah.
It is raining hard. But they had the medal round where I believe, if I remember correctly, it was the top four teams, the top two teams from the groups, from each group played in the medal round. They determined who won gold, silver, and bronze. So, and the what was it? The United States was actually, if they didn't beat Finland, they would not have won a medal.
Yeah, that was well, they said they talk about it that was like a crucial, they had to do that.
Yeah, they were tied at 2 at the end of the second period, and Eruzione tells this story in the HBO documentary, and he says, I'll sanitize it because we're a family friendly show.
Yeah. Except when
He-
I come both barrels blazing, quoting Pete Carroll, but that's another matter.
or Kevin Costner from Draft Day.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that one.
But he talks about during the second intermission of their game against Finland, Herb Brooks walked into the locker room and he said to every single player, he said, if you don't win this game, you will take this to your effing graves.
Mm-hmm.
Then he walks towards the door. He opens the door, looks back at them and says, your effing graves. And closes the door, and they score 3 goals and they win the gold medal.
There we go. Man.
All right, so we're coming up against our first commercial break, which we'll get to in just a moment, but we're going to visit the comment section before we do. We got our buddy Wonko the Sane, says, more like tortured by that 1980s haircut. Am I right?
Yeah. Could be
back when
Wonko.
I used to have hair, yeah.
Could be. Or those, how about those pants? And also random Joe Green Coke commercial, like
Yep.
flashes on that. I'm like,
Yeah,
did
right
Coke
before,
pay to have
right
that in
during
there?
the first intermission of the Sweden game, I think it was.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, also, fun fact: Ken Morrow, who played for that team, was clean shaven in the movie, but he actually was allowed to have a beard. And he's one of the only athletes. He's one of the only hockey players in history. I think it was the first to do it, to win a gold medal and a Stanley Cup in the same calendar year.
Oh, wow.
Because he played for the New York Islanders in 1980. He was on that team.
Man, that's
He wanted to play
impressive.
the other. It was on the other 3 teams that from that other teams that won the Stanley Cup of that dynasty in the early '80s. So
Mhm.
Ken Morrow, good, and he was only one of 2 players to win a Stanley Cup from that team. Neil Broughton was the other one. Played
Oh,
for
okay.
my New Jersey Devils.
So I guess
1995.
well, so I guess because I guess before we jump to commercial here, I was gonna say let's rank the movies for
Okay,
no ticket required so far as we've been doing. But I know what your number one is based on how much knowledge you just dropped about this movie.
come on.
All right, so your number one is Miracle.
Miracle.
What about the others? I can't remember your ranking from the last one.
Number 2 is Moneyball. Number 3 is King Richard.
Okay, yeah.
Just
And
because of how torturously long it was.
and where was Air in your ranking?
Oh,
too?
Air. Actually, let me revisit this. Air's 1, Miracle 2,
Oh,
Moneyball
wow.
3, and somewhere near the bottom is King Richard.
All right, so for my list,
If you want to slap me, Will Smith, I'll put my address in the comments section.
yeah. So my list
Come get some.
is also Air at number 1. So both you and I really loved Air. And
Yes.
then Miracle is number 2 for me. And then King Richard. And then at number, I got to do it. Number 4, it's a can of corn, Moneyball.
No, the can of corn was from.
I
King
know,
Richard.
but I'm referring to Moneyball.
Oh, you're referring to
can of corn.
Macy. I gotcha.
Yeah, hopefully Brad Pitt doesn't eat a can of corn during Moneyball, but we might.
Well, he sure did a heck of a lot of working out. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Your sister says, "How do you like them apples?" Oops, wrong movie.
Yes, that is the wrong movie. Although, for no ticket required, we did have a Ben Affleck and Matt Damon sighting. Both were in Air.
That's
so
true.
You should watch that.
Your sister also likes Eddie Cahill. If I remember correctly from Friends, he was on that show and he dated Rachel. Like his character dated Rachel. Lucky guy.
Yeah, the guy did a good job getting that written into the script.
Wonko says, "What do you want on your tombstone?" A Kurt Russell reference.
He wasn't
of course,
talking about the pizza from the 90s. Remember the Tombstone?
Do they still sell Tombstone?
I don't know.
If they do, we'll have to do a no kitchen required food review.
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, no kitchen required. We just got a new segment.
We just got a new
edition.
Holiday edition, no ticket required movie review. Now no kitchen required food review. Oh my goodness. And your brother-in-law says I went to the 20-year celebration in Lake Placid for the 1980 Olympics, and it was amazing watching the highlights. Oh, lucky.
Man. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That is cool. Your brother-in-law is officially cool.
Yeah. Well, I've thought that for a little while, but don't let him know about that.
Our lips are sealed. All right, let's take our first commercial break. We'll have this break from Invader Coffee. You're listening to or watching No Credentials Required. This episode of No Credentials Required is brought to you by Invader Coffee. For the coffee lover who wants good, quality coffee with no bullshit and no filler, Invader Coffee is an ultra-premium, veteran-owned coffee company proudly delivering only the best coffee your hard-earned money can buy. They aim to only serve the highest quality, organic, air-roasted coffee beans sourced from free trade farms all over the world. They keep things simple. The best coffee at an affordable price in order to provide you with the value you deserve for your morning boost. 100% fair trade, 100% organic coffee beans, 100% air-roasted, 100% money-back guarantee. Visit invadercoffee.com, enter promo code BELLYUP at checkout, and receive 15% off your order. That's right, folks. For the best damn coffee you'll find anywhere, visit our link in the description, which is our affiliate link. Buy some coffee, you'll help the show, and you can save some money with the promo code BELLYUP at checkout. Get 15% off your order. I sent some coffee to one of our former guests, Brian Snow, the Snowman. I know he's doing his baseball play-by-play right now, so good luck to him.
Yeah.
I sent him a bag of the Mexican chocolate. He says I'm hooked.
It is.
Loves
there
it.
It is.
Loves it.
Mm-hmm. That's all it took. I mean, you got me into Invader, and I've been buying it ever since. Even before I was the co-host of this illustrious show.
It's true. So get yourself some Invader coffee, the best coffee your money can buy, air roasted, veteran-owned company. So you're helping veterans, former military, get some jobs, and you're helping a military-owned company, which is great. So link in the description. You'll help the show at the affiliate link. And again, you save 15% off your order with promo code BELLYUP. Get yourself some of the best coffee your money can buy. It is, and as always, Dustin, it gets the no credentials required seal of approval. No, I will not make the noise.
It's a great seal, though. It could be like the show. Well, Tags is the show mascot, so we can't. But we'll figure out something for the seal.
That's right. We will.
And what about who was the lady that you had in the holiday graphics? Annabelle. That's right.
Annabelle.
I christened her Annabelle.
You christened her Annabelle. Yes,
yeah. Oh man.
Annabelle's coming back soon, folks. All right. So let's get to some random sports injury news. Dustin, there was an injury last week we kind of forgot about, but let's talk about that injury a little bit. So we have some of those weirdest ways to get injured. I know I have injured myself in weird and random ways, but professional athletes are especially good at it.
Yeah.
For example, Sammy Sosa once went on the disabled list because he threw out his back sneezing. What do you got, Dustin?
Oh, that can happen. And my number one is still the number one with a bullet for me will always be, at the time, Edmonton Oiler, Dustin Penner, throwing out his back, cutting into a, quote, a delicious stack of his wife's pancakes, which I maintain has to qualify that they were delicious, then they were shit pancakes, all right? Excuse my French. But But this week's or the more accurately, the injury last week that happened that I was just like, oh, we got to talk about this, and I made a note and then I forgot. Seattle Mariner prospect, like highly rated prospect, but he's been up and down between the minors. He started the year hot. Jared Kelnick. If you play fantasy baseball or you follow the Mariners, I'd imagine in any capacity, you know who this guy
of
is.
which I do neither. But go
Yeah.
ahead.
But Jared Kelnick, I believe he broke his ankle. I can't remember. He broke his ankle or his foot kicking a water cooler.
Oh, no.
At least you got to give it up to former Yankee great and current great announcer for the Yankees, I might add, Paul O'Neill. He beat the brakes off of water coolers in his time, and he never hurt himself doing it. Jared Kelnick kicking a water cooler and putting himself on the DL. So that's a wild one. And apparently he gave a profusely, he was apologizing profusely in the clubhouse and stuff. But it's just one of those things. Like you gotta kind of try to regulate your emotions.
If I remember correctly, he also cried like Nancy Kerrigan in front of reporters when they were asking him about the injury.
No.
He's like, I disappointed my teammates.
Oh
I
man.
feel so
Oh
bad.
man.
Oh my god! Yeah, and I looked to see what he broke. He broke his foot. He's in a walking boot for 4 to 6 weeks.
Yes, his foot. Okay. So oh jeez, man.
God. Then
Oh.
other sports injury. So it was revealed that Naeem Hines, uh,
Oof.
NFL training camp starting. Naeem Hines was expected to be part of the Buffalo Bills running attack and also a part of their special teams. Uh,
Yeah.
Fortunately, he is out for the 2023 season after being involved in a jet ski accident. Like, not what you think.
Oh, okay. All right.
If I bring up the story on Twitter, which is now called X,
Yes, I saw that.
um, I'm trying to find my bookmarks here. Tom Pelissaro was the one who broke the story. He said what, and this is what he said in the tweet: while sitting stationary on a jet ski, Naeem Hines was struck by another rider and sustained serious but
Oh,
non-life-threatening injuries. Hines will require surgery and miss the 2023 season.
oh, geez, that's a tough break. It's terrible. I mean, happy that he's okay, relatively
Yeah.
speaking, he's okay. But as you alluded to, he was expected to have a role on that team. He was supposed to be, I think, their primary punt returner and have
Yep.
a role on special teams, and also he was probably going to be running the rock a little bit here and there because running backs, it's tough out there for him right now. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. um, but he was definitely supposed to be part of that running attack, which doesn't. I mean, I go back to last season when talking about the Buffalo Bills,
Hmm.
and I had said, and I think I might have said on this program, amid a myriad of programs and talking to other friends who are Buffalo Bills fans, they should have picked up Christian McCaffrey at the trade deadline.
Oh
Because
man.
if they had picked up Christian McCaffrey at the trade deadline, they would have won the Super Bowl because they would not only have they would have a dual threat in the backfield as a pass catcher and as a running back. And he was on the cheap. He was there on the cheap. He was there for less than $1 million because of his contract. How the way his contract, because he was still on his rookie deal.
Mm.
And if they had picked him up during the trade deadline, I think they would have won the Super Bowl. And I'm trying to get into the more details about Naeem Hines' accident. So apparently it was a freak accident. Now it doesn't say what kind of injuries he suffered, but I imagine they were pretty nasty.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to speculate if, but obviously it's enough to keep him out for the entire 2023, 23/24 season, but I call it the 2023 season. The playoffs start at 2024.
Okay.
But
So
yeah,
it was apparently a knee injury.
okay, because I thought I saw something mentioned about an ACL or a LCL, but I could be
Yeah, it was an ACL. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Man.
So we're doing research real time on this show, folks.
Yeah, we're live. We're live, like the old episodes of WCW Nitro from
Or as Bill O'Reilly used to say, we're doing it live. All right, we'll do it live.
And also, apparently, you can still buy Tombstone Pizza. I know everybody was very concerned about that from our last segment. You know, I might pick up this hamburger pizza rated 3.4 stars.
Oh, All
I
right,
don't
Dustin.
know.
You know what to do now. It's definitely got to go. No kitchen required.
All right.
Gotta do it.
And we'll do a frozen pizza like blind taste test. We'll get like
Ooh, we'll rank them.
yeah, we'll pick up like Red Bear. We might have to do like a rare get together. We might have to like podcast in the same room for this one.
We might have to.
Then we'll have somebody like blindfold us or something, and we'll each rank the pizzas. And you'll be like, I've had enough of those pizzas. That's a Red Baron right there. I'd recognize that crust. You know, like,
this is definitely DiGiorno and not delivery.
Yeah.
I recognize that rising crust anywhere.
Yeah. And maybe we'll just like slip random pizzas in there, like Little Caesars out of nowhere, and we'll be like, "Oh, this is round. This is." I'm trying to think of some other frozen pizzas. I don't know. The names escape me.
Yeah, speaking of pizza, and I know we're kind of going off the rails here, but which is fine because I love pizza.
Yeah.
So I've had New York style pizza, which is the superior pizza. Let's put it that way. Superior pizza.
Yeah.
I've had Chicago style pizza, which is basically pizza casserole. I've had like I don't know if they call it St. Louis style pizza.
Okay.
Where basically it's just a round pizza, but they cut it into squares, and it's terrible. The Midwest does not know how to do pizza correctly.
Yeah.
I have never had Detroit style pizza.
Okay, yeah, I was going to ask if you've had Detroit. I have not had Detroit either. No.
So your sister says I love Pizza Steve.
Oh yeah, that's from Multiplicity. Shout out to number 4. Well, first shout out to Michael Keaton, aka Batman, aka Soup Lover Bruce Wayne, but also number 4. Clone number 4. And interestingly enough, number 3, the one who has like, OCD or whatever, he decorates a pizza by making a pepperoni smiley face in that movie. So we're tying it all around.
Oh my god.
I think it's at this moment that Ryan is wondering why.
I think it's time to take another commercial.
He's wondering why he asked me to co-host.
So according to your sister's defending herself, I did not say that. Nick typed it in, but I approve because Multiplicity is amazing.
Yeah. It is a good movie.
She also said that Nick was listening.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take one more commercial break. When we come back, we're going to play some Questions for Humans Guys Night Edition one more time. Until so stick around. We'll have more No Credentials Required. Until then, let's take a quick commercial break.
Spring has sprung, and our friends at Manscaped have the best tools for some spring cleaning. They've already helped you tidy up all the nooks and crannies of your body's basement. But this year, Manscaped can help you get the perfect presentation on that beautiful face with the new Beard Hedger Pro Kit. Make sure you look your best this spring by using code BELLY20 to get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. So tame your mane with the Beard Hedger Pro Kit. The sun is peeking back out, which means you'll have to show your face in the daylight again. So use the kit to make sure your scruff looks award-winning, whether you have glorious beard flow or some smooth, sleek cheeks. Save 20% off and free shipping with the code BELLY20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code BELLY20 at manscaped.com. Focus on the face and use the Beard Hedger Pro Kit for the cleanest look in the game.
That's right, folks. Manscaped for the win. Get yours, whether it be the Lawnmower 4.0, the Weed Whacker nose hair trimmer, Or my personal favorite, the Beard Hedge Trimmer, which we'll get to the seal of approval in just a moment. But when you use promo code BELLY20 at manscaped.com at checkout, you get 20% off your order and free shipping. So you can get yourself a beard like this handsome face currently has, or you can trim your manly bits with the Lawnmower 4.0, or trim those nose hairs. Like I'll make them look non-existent with the weed whacker. Get yourself, again, manscaped.com, promo code BELLY20, 20% off your order and free shipping. And Manscaped gets the no credentials required seal of approval. Seal's so cute.
It is. That's why I said we got to involve it somewhere. We got like a roster. Tags he's number one on the list, like I said, but now we got Seal, we got Annabelle, we got some things happening. we also
list.
Yeah, we also have a PSA which I haven't heard yet, and we've been playing it.
You mean this PSA?
Yes.
The following is a public service announcement from Wise El Jefe,
Boston.
This has been a public service announcement from Wise El Jefe.
That one always gets me.
Friend of the show, Wise El Jefe. Boston.
Yeah, we gotta do like another brunch episode, I think, or something. We were saying we were gonna do a brunch episode about something, but I can't remember.
We gotta get Cole.
Oh yeah,
buddy Cole Johnson. Shout out to Cole. I know he's either watching live or on the replay. He enjoys our show immensely. And Snowman mentioned this morning that he wants to get you on his program sometime.
Oh man, I would be honored to grace the airwaves.
He wants to talk smack about the Seahawks.
Well, for a lot of years we couldn't really talk back. You know, the Seahawks. It was rough for a little while.
Yeah.
But you know, as a person who has the football life, Steve Largent just sitting on his DVR randomly. And do you think I watched it again this weekend, even though I've seen it like 70 times? Yes, I did.
You probably know it front to back, including the commercials by now.
Yeah, I will say there's a couple times where Jim Caviezel tries to do a Yoda impression in it, and he does a decent job with the Yoda.
Hold up. Stop. I just gotta break this out. Jim Caviezel.
Bitch, are you for real?
Yeah, I mean,
thank you, Dolomite.
It's a decent Yoda impression because Largent's nickname was Yoda. But
Jim Caviezel with the Yoda impression.
Yeah. But he tries to do the facial expressions. And it takes it too far.
Only a puppet can do that facial expression.
It takes it too far. And shout out to Steve Rabel in that episode, who says, actually, the original Halloween party where we came up with the nickname of Yoda for Steve, he's like, his wife showed up as Yoda, and Steve Largent was dressed as Princess Leia, and Steve Rabel, one-time wide receiver, I believe, and also current radio announcer for the Seahawks. He said, quite a fetching Princess Leia, I might add. Yes, I do know.
Excuse me, I need to play this again.
Bitch, are you for real?
Good God. Look at the gams on Princess Leia. That's Steve.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, man. All right. Yes, I will defend my Seahawks when needed.
All right. So we're going to play some questions for podcasters one more time. It's been a pretty fun time. I've had some fun playing this game, except for the first week where I got the serious questions.
I'm sorry. I drew the card.
There's such a thing as shuffling, Dustin.
I did shuffle it.
All right, so I'll lead off with our first question, Dustin.
All right. Lay it on me.
Would you rather be hot, smart, or able to fix anything?
Oh man. All right. Well, Whether
What a
I'm
great question.
whether I'm hot is debatable. Smart, let's see. I have smart things, but based on the amount, okay, I'm going strictly with this answer. Strictly with this answer.
This is like Mary Boffkill.
Yeah, I would rather have the ability to fix anything. And I'm going to tell you why. One, I'm saving myself boatloads of cash. I've had to have things fixed in my basement and in my bathroom and like certain things. It's what happens when you buy a house that's built in 1955, folks. It's part of the game. But I have had to spend some serious cheddar to have things fixed at this house. So one, I'm saving myself a bunch of money. And two, I'm saving myself frustration because when I decide, oh, I got to save money, next thing I know, I'm like, I could fix this doorknob real quick. And then blink of an eye, I'm locked in my goddamn bathroom and I have to break my door practically like a cop busting in my own door. And then my dad, true story, has to come and fix the door later. So
you dropped the GD bomb.
I know. I'm sorry.
I'm dying.
I'm sorry. It's just sometimes I get fired up with home repair. It's true. All right. So I would like the ability to fix anything, please. How about you, sir?
Your sister said the same thing.
Yeah.
And she also said because he gets mad when he can't fix things quickly.
It's true. I can't sit here and deny it.
Oh, this is great. Well, I'm already smart based on the knowledge I've been dropping left and right.
You've been dropping knowledge, and don't sell
I'm a bit of
yourself
a
short.
I'm a bit of a savant.
Rhys.
Look, I'm a bit of a. I don't know if you know this, Dustin. I'm a bit of a savant. So.
Yeah.
That's not outside.
I haven't heard.
That is not the outside.
I haven't heard the Rhys thunder in a minute. I missed it.
No, you haven't. No, you haven't.
Yeah.
Darn it, looped. Well, I'm already pretty smart, as you can see. I'm kind of a savant. I have a bunch of useless knowledge in my head that I just drop randomly. I'd say I'm pretty good looking, being hot. So I would say, yeah, that's the same answer. I'd be able to fix anything because, like you, my sister and I, we live in an older house, and when we got here, things were already in disrepair because the guy who lived here before sucked at fixing things.
Yeah.
Straight up sucked. SUCKED at fixing anything. The shelves were slanted. I put a glass when we had our old shelves and cabinets.
Yeah.
I put a glass on the shelf of the cabinet. It slid off and almost broke. I had to catch it in my hand. That's how useless this guy was about fixing anything. And whenever we try to fix something else would come up. As stupid as the first problem. So yeah, I'm getting fired up too. I'm not gonna drop a GD bomb, but I'm getting fired up too because of the way this guy would just completely put this house in disrepair. Plus, there's freaking cables everywhere. Where the hell are the cables going?
Oh yeah,
honestly, where the hell are these cables going? Apparently, he must have tried to set up his own personal TV network because there were TV cables every freaking where in this house. I don't get it. I don't understand. I just snipped so many wires. It was like, I felt like a bomb, like a guy who detonates, who is a bomb technician who has to detonate the bomb. That's the right wire, or else the place will freaking blow up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would love to have the ability to fix just about anything because, like you, I hate spending money on things that don't need to be repaired, especially considering some things don't need to be repaired in the first place. But unfortunately, things come along and they do need repair. And it's like, why, God, why?
And like you said, you're starting from behind the eight ball already if stuff was done wrong. because
Yes.
the countless things. I had an electrician here to put in a new outlet for my sump pump, which is another thing I had to pay for in the basement. I used to get a lot of water in the basement. Now I don't.
Mhm.
But he was here to put in the outlet for said sump pump, and he tugged on wires that were on my that were in my basement. I have some lighting down there, and it was obvious DIY job. And he just tugged on a wire ever so slightly, and every light in the basement just flashed. And he's like, "Would you like me?" He goes, "Would you like me to fix this for you?" I said, "Yeah, would you?" So he did. And then there's other things. These are the worst words, and tell me if you've ever had them come up when someone is working in your home. They say to you, especially if they don't remember your name, they say, "Hey, buddy, could I talk to you for a second?"
Ah.
Then you know something bad is coming.
Oh, yep. Anything, house, car,
Yeah.
whatever. Your left leg, yeah, anything like that. It has to be repaired. Hey,
Yeah.
buddy, can I talk to you for a minute? Son
Yeah.
of a. Ah!
Yeah.
All right, your turn.
All right. So my question, that was a really good one, but my question is, what's the best prank you've ever played?
Ooh, the best prank I've ever played. I'm searching for that card so we don't have to play it again.
Yeah.
Um, so when I used to work when I was in an office setting, this is before I went home. I've worked from home since 2014, so I was
Oh,
used to it
wow.
before the pandemic when everybody else had to work from home.
Yep.
So we had a contest or challenge, and um, we had to reach certain benchmarks during that challenge. And it was for the team, and we had to do it in a certain amount of time like a month for a month. And there was a big payoff at the end. So we met our goal with I think with probably like 5 days to go. We were way ahead in our goal setting. But we met our goals and we were rewarded with a paid lunch from De Raymond's. And De Raymond's, if
Yeah.
you've been to De Raymond's,
Great
ah,
Italian food, man.
awesome Italian food. I need to go there and go to dinner there sometime. Cook
So
chicken parm.
we'll do a no cred REQ dinner there.
There we go. Our next production meeting will about be at De Raymond's.
Yeah.
So we get treated to a lunch from the Raymonds. I'm like, this is great. So there's a girl sitting next to me, or either sitting next to me or sitting across from me, and for some reason she had her debit card out. I'm
Mhm.
not sure why. Maybe she had to use it. She had to call in first. She had to call and use her card over the phone or something like that. So without her, while she's not looking, I take the card and I slip it in my shirt pocket. And this goes on, and she's oblivious for a good 5-10 minutes, maybe more.
Oh
All
man.
of a sudden, we're going back to our desks, and she goes, "Where's my card? Where's my card? Oh my god, where's my card? Is this your card?"
Yeah.
I'm not one to pull pranks,
Yeah.
but with her, I had to do it because she was a little bit of a ditz, but
Yeah.
she was a fun ditz.
Yeah.
Um,
Good sport
but
about it.
but she smacks me on the arm. Why'd you do that? I'm like, because it was funny, and everyone around me was laughing because it was just. But it was just fun to see. Some things I like to do because I like to see the look on people's faces.
Yeah.
For example, yesterday I attended a church service. It was outdoors, and I don't know if you've ever seen them in the convenience stores, but you ever heard of the Liquid Death?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Seen
so
those.
yeah, they're good. There's a bunch of there's a bunch of flavors they have out there. It's pretty good. It's pretty good water.
Mhm.
Icelandic water in cans, ladies and gentlemen. So I go to the park. I go to this park. It's a public park. Bring my chair, and I put my. There goes my light.
No, no.
Um, that's all right. I'll get it back. There we go.
There it is.
So I bring I had bought a can before I went because I wanted some liquid refreshment while I'm out in the sun, getting my Bible on. And as I sat down, all of a sudden you hear I see this guy next to me. He goes, "Yeah, brother." I'm like, "It's sparkling water. It's not what you think." But I actually
premium hydration.
it's premium hydration. I actually brought a can to my old church, my former church. We did outdoor service in 2020 because that's what you did.
Yeah.
And I brought a can with me. I'm sitting next to my family. My sister looks at me. She goes, "Are you drinking a beer at church?" No, it's water. It's a can of water.
That liquid death's gonna get you in trouble.
That's fine. It makes a great story. What
Yeah.
about you, Dustin? What's the best prank you ever pulled?
Well, I, like you, am not really one to pull pranks, at least not that come to the forefront of my mind. However, I will admit that I have been the prankee many times in my life. People, I'm somewhat gullible, especially when I was a kid. I was real gullible. My Uncle Gary, if my sister's still watching, she'll tell you, my Uncle Gary and she and my cousins, they would razz me a little bit, prank me. Uncle Gary, he would tell me that I had to do a survival test and stuff, and then pull the car over and act like they're going to drop me off in the woods. There were a lot of things, pranking. But the one thing that I did, it wasn't so much a prank, but it was retaliation. One of my old college roommates, Scott, and it makes it fun because of his reaction. My old college roommate, Scott, he was a big Giants fan, everything. So, maybe he's watching. If you are, shout out, Scott. Shout out to you. But he would sometimes, we shared a shower I think this was my freshman year of college or sophomore year. Can't remember which, but we shared a shower on the floor. Like it was like, the way the dorm,
common shower area.
yeah, yeah. The
Okay.
way the dorms worked, it was like one floor was guys, then the next floor is girls,
Mhm.
then the next floor is, and so on,
Yeah.
whatever. So it's a
Yeah.
bunch of guys that are sharing this shower / bathroom. There's a couple showers in there, and Scott used to think it was funny to just turn the lights out on me when I was showering and try to take my clothes out of there. And I learned to always have some clothes in my hand and hang them on like the back of the door where no one could see them, so that I always had, some protection from being embarrassed. Well,
Mhm.
he kept doing it. He kept doing it. And it was good natured resin or whatever. I'd be laughing. But one time we had a conversation over a couple of beers, and he's saying, like, how come if you're in the shower and you let one rip, it's like so much worse? And I'm like, well, it's probably the steam or whatever. So all of a sudden it occurs to me, I'm going to get my revenge on Scott. So the next time he went, he's like, I'm going to go take a shower. And I'm like, all right. And I waited till I had to go to the bathroom. I waited till I had to drop a deuce, as one would say. And I went and I sat and I did my business as Scott was showering, and I waited until like it was nice and steamy in the bathroom. He had it nice and hot in there. And all of a sudden I just hear him, and he sniffs his nose. He goes, and then he goes, USOB. Like he just said it, and it was funny. And we started laughing. So that's really the only thing that came to my mind. And maybe people are disgusted. I don't know. But
Whatever.
I'm not really a
Listen,
prank person.
it's a human. It's a part of human function.
Yes, it is.
Everybody poops.
Yes.
As the book says, everybody poops.
Yes. So that's it.
Yeah. So Dustin and I, we highly encourage you, highly encourage anyone who wants to know their friends, who wants to know their family, who wants to know their spouse more. Definitely order these questions online. It's at Dave Ramsey's website, Questions for Humans by Dr. John Deloney. It gets the No credentials required.
Here he is.
Seal of approval.
It might be the MVP of this show, this particular episode, because he's made
Yeah,
a lot of appearances.
Like Kurt Russell carrying Miracle. This
Yeah.
seal is carrying
Yeah.
this episode.
Yeah.
Well, we want to thank you for watching or listening to this week's episode of No Credentials Required. Before we leave, though, we just want to remind you about our socials, which are right down here on Twitter, Instagram. The scarcely used TikTok is at NoCredsREQ. Facebook.com/NoCredsREQ. YouTube.com/@NoCredsREQ. And if you're watching either live or on the replay, again, we just want to remind you to smash that like button and subscribe. Very importantly, subscribe, because we're trying to get to 500 subscribers so we can get some cash money, like in that jar, like in that jar. On the podcast side, you can subscribe on a myriad of podcast networks, podcast platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Google Play, wherever you podcast. Also, remind you to rate and review. 5 stars is the preferred amount of stars to rate. And if you leave a review, we might even read it on the air. Again, no matter how sweet or how incredibly vile it is, we will read it on the air because it's part of our obligation to you, the viewer and or listener. So, you have been watching or listening to No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are presented by Belly Up Sports in association with Godzilla Media. For my co-host Dustin, I'm Ryan. Thanks again for listening or watching, and we'll talk to you again next time when we review. You know what? I'll save it for next week.
Oh.
Till then, take care.
Good night, everybody.